Eagles got a send-off to the Super Bowl of a lifetime, while Brandon Aiyuk is sitting on the couch. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. We are 1 week away. One very, very long week away from the Super Bowl. Cannot wait. It's going to be awesome. The Eagles are on their way to Arizona, and they're probably just about there at this point. Now, before we get into all of this, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, most throttled Eagles content creator in all of the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, thank you so much for all that you guys do. I appreciate it so very much. Now, there's a lot going on, right? There's a lot to talk about. Obviously, this game will be here eventually. It feels like we haven't played the NFC or a game in like 3 weeks. Like, it was a week ago today we double moonwalked the San Francisco 49ers ass and Brandon Aiyuk's ass in the NFC Championship game. Feels like 3 weeks ago. Feels like a month ago. Seems like forever. But we got one more week to go. A lot of storylines. A lot of things are going to be happening. It should be very, very interesting. And one cool thing that I didn't get a chance to talk about on Friday, because it happened after I posted my video, was Jeff Stoutland signed an extension, a long-term contract to remain the Eagles offensive line coach. And I have to think that if something happens with Steichen, remember, Steichen had his second interview with the Indianapolis Colts yesterday. So to me, I think, and I'm just speculating, but I think if somehow Steichen was to get hired by the Colts, which could happen because the Colts like our leftovers. They like the Philadelphia Eagles leftovers. So if they hire Steichen as head football coach, I really think Stoutland's going to be promoted to offensive coordinator. Remember, teams were calling and wanting to interview him to be an offensive coordinator this year. He signed a long-term contract. And as for the Eagles, for them doing that, I think that was a huge move. To keep Jeff Stoutland, who, in my opinion, is one of the best coaches we've had in a long, long time, is important. Look at how many offensive linemen he has made good or great. You know, he's taken guys with Pro Bowl talent, made them Hall of Famers. He takes Hall of Famers, makes them even better Hall of Famers. He takes good players, makes them Pro Bowlers. He takes players that are fringe players and makes them steady starters and good depth pieces. Jeff Stoutland is a tremendous asset for the Eagles, and to keep him is very important. And Jeffrey Lurie and Howie, they're smart. They know that you had to retain him. And I think it's a big move. I think it's going to be one of those very, very underrated moves. And maybe it even brings back a guy like Kelsey, who I have a feeling Kelsey is not going to retire. I'm just saying. I hope he doesn't, but I have a feeling. But bringing back Jeff Stoutland is a tremendous piece, and that just happened before the Super Bowl. And I'm really wondering if Steichen does get hired, and I don't know if he will, but if he does, I gotta wonder if Stoutland then becomes your offensive coordinator. We will see. It's going to be interesting. And you know, today the Eagles, they had a send-off to the Super Bowl, as we talked about earlier. They're flying out there today. Thousands of Eagle fans lined up. Thousands of Eagle fans. You could see all the pictures. It's all over Twitter. Lined up. They went there to send the Eagles off. How great is this fan base? I don't care what anybody says. This is the best fan base in the NFL. There's no question about it. What a way to go out. And I hope this team sees that, man, and they're ready to go. I cannot wait for this game. Oh, I cannot wait. I am not going to sleep for like 3 days before the game. And then when we win the game, I'm not going to sleep for like 3 days after. This is a true story. The last time we won the Super Bowl, okay, well, in 2017, I didn't sleep for like 3 days. I was afraid to go to sleep. I literally thought and was worried that I would wake up and it was all a dream. And I was like, I'm not going to sleep. I'm not going to sleep. And I remember doing videos like that. And it was Adrian, shout to Adrian Bitterbirds. He's like, Philly, you there, you there? I'm like, I couldn't even think. I was like a zombie, but I was so afraid that I was going to wake up and it was a dream and I wasn't going to be able to handle it. But it wasn't a dream, it was reality. And I'm ready for number two. I'm ready for number two, Especially what will be so satisfying in winning a Super Bowl this year is the fact that you have all these people throughout the world, throughout the league, that seem to not think the Eagles deserve to be there. They all think that the Eagles took their spot or, somehow lucked into this thing. The Eagles are 9-1 against teams that were over 500. You play who's on your schedule. All you can do is go out and play who you have in front of you. That's it. If our schedule is so easy, then why didn't the other teams in the NFC East go further? The Cowboys had a pretty similar schedule to the Eagles. The New York Giants had a pretty similar schedule to the Eagles. Neither of them could stand or do anything that the Eagles could do. The Dallas Cowboys couldn't beat the 49ers. They couldn't rock Brock Purdy, but the Eagles could. And you know what? Them rocking Brock Purdy, it's made a lot of 49ers players a little resentful. We've seen this all week, them whining. The 40 whiners is what we're calling them, right? The latest one, Brandon Aiyuk. A guy who I personally like. I liked him coming out of college. I was hoping after the Cowboys had traded for CeeDee Lamb, I was hoping that was my next guy I would have drafted. So I like Brandon Aiyuk. But man, he's talking out his ass, right? 49ers, Brandon Aiyuk says Eagles were extremely, quote, extremely lucky to make the Super Bowl. He backs the Chiefs. And he went on to say this. Get this. He says, if I were going to bet on this game, I would take everything that I own, get it in cash, and put my money on the Kansas City Chiefs, Aiyuk said. Later adding, you got to get lucky to win a Super Bowl. And the Eagles just got extremely lucky last week. So who's to say they can't do it twice? So he's already saying that if the Eagles win and beat the Chiefs, they were lucky again. And I guess they were lucky against the Giants. And I guess they were lucky all year long. And I guess they're just lucky all the time. We're the luckiest team ever. Have you ever heard the word lucky associated with the Philadelphia Eagles? As long as I've grown up, as much football as I've watched, I can go back to the end of the Marion Campbell era, okay? When Buddy Ryan first came in. I can remember things like the Fog Bowl, when the Eagles got totally gypped off, or the first game of the season when they had clearly the best team in the whole league. And then Randall Cunningham, the most electrifying player at the time, gets hurt, is out for the year. Eagles go through 3-4 quarterbacks, go 10-6, still don't make the playoffs, okay? So I have seen a lot of bad luck with the Eagles. I saw us lose 3 championship games. I've seen a lot of crazy things. You guys have seen a lot of crazy things. The one thing I can tell you for sure is nobody has ever connected the word luck to the Philadelphia Eagles. We get what's ours. We take what we want. And the fact of the matter is, and I think this is why 49ers players are so salty, they thought that they were the tough team. They thought that they were the gritty team. They thought that they were the team with heart and resilience, and that everybody should just bend the knee to them. What they didn't count on was that the Eagles were going to match it and take it up a notch. And when you go out there and their quarterback, who's supposed to be this great young quarterback, this rookie quarterback, 12 straight wins, when you go out there and you knock them out of the game because your player knocked them out of the game in game, you can't hold that against the Eagles. So even when we win the Super Bowl, you see, they're already going to say it was luck. It's always luck, right? Eagles are not lucky. The Eagles are just that good. And when this Super Bowl is over, people are going to have to recognize how good that team is and how good some of these players are. How good some of them are. At this point, it's just gotten totally ridiculous with all this kind of talk, okay? And then the other thing I want to talk about is Devonta Smith. I'm not saying that I'm going to say or predict this, but I keep having this gut feeling about Devonta Smith in the Super Bowl. I just have this weird feeling, and I don't know if it was because of the national championship game he played, where he had over 200 yards in the first half, but I keep getting this feeling that Devonta Smith is going to have a monster game. Like, I'm talking over 150 yards, double-digit reception. Like, I just got this thing and this feeling that Devonta Smith is getting ready to really steal the show. I don't know why. I just got this feeling. Keep your eye out on it. But what I want to talk about also with Devonta Smith is, get this, okay? If Devonta Smith wins the Super Bowl, he enters all world numbers here, right? Get this. If the Eagles win, and this is from James Palmer, he says, if Pound Eagles win, Devonta Smith would become the fourth player in the history to win a college football national championship, a Heisman Trophy, and a Super Bowl. Smith would join Charles Woodson, Marcus Allen, and Tony Dorsett. Those are some high praises and some big names to be matched with. That's what Devonta Smith has a chance of doing. Remember when everybody said Devonta Smith is undersized, he'll never play a full season? Wrong. Remember when they said Devonta Smith wasn't that good? Wrong. Devonta Smith is an absolute stud, and I believe that him and Jalen Hurts are going to go out and play the games of their life. I'm not saying other guys won't either, but those two guys I have really good feelings about. Cannot wait. We are going into Super Bowl week starting tomorrow. Well, actually starting today. We're going to talk matchups. We're going to have people on. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure, if you haven't, make sure you subscribe. With that said, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's how we vision. We're all just living in it. So a little update on the line for the Eagles-Chiefs game. Right now, Eagles are still 1.5 point favorites going into Super Bowl week. The over/under moved a point. It's now 50.5. It was 49.5 last week. It is 50.5. I still like that over. I still think that I still think this is going to be a fairly high scoring game. I think both teams will score points. It's just the Eagles are going to score a whole lot more. With that said, Denzel Washington out.